Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Electrical Concepts. My name is Avigyan Roy, and in this video lecture I'm going to discuss about the phenomenon of arcing ground. So before understanding what is arcing ground, let's discuss an ungrounded neutral system. So this is an ungrounded neutral system. Okay, so these are the three phases R, Y, B, and here the neutral is not connected with the ground. Okay, so now we can say that with respect to each phase there is a capacitance effect with respect to the ground. Okay, and let's assume that all the capacitors are having same value. Okay, so all the capacitors are same, say C and C. So there's a capacitive effect between the phase and the ground. All right, and now this is a three phase balance system. So now the voltage is same for all the phases, and also that capacitance is also same for all the three cases. Okay, so if I talk about the capacitive current, what will that be? So capacitive current, suppose this is IR, this is IY, okay, and this is IB. So IR, IY and IB all will be same. Why? Because voltage is same for all the three cases and capacitance is also same. So it can be written as V phase by XC, where X is the capacitive reactance. Alright, so we can assume that this is IC normal. Okay, that means the normal capacitive current or capacitive current under normal condition. Alright, so now let's discuss what will happen when a fault takes place. Suppose at phase B a line to ground fault takes place, okay, at this point. So the moment it is connected with the ground, the phase B connected with the ground, what will happen? The fault current will try to flow towards the ground, but as because there is no neutral connected with the ground, so there is only one way through which the fault current can flow, and that is via capacitance. Okay, so that is via capacitance. So the fault current will flow from this point via ground to the capacitance. So it will be like this. So one part will go like this and another part will go like this. Okay, and again it will come back, again it will come back, and same for this, again it will come back. All right, so now normally here the fault current is capacitive in nature. All right, and one more thing here, suppose the fault current is IF. Okay, fault current is IF. So we can write that IF is nothing but the phasor sum of IR plus IY. Okay, because this fault current is nothing but the capacitive current, and IR and IY are the capacitive currents in phase R and Y respectively. So IF is nothing but the phasor summation of IR and IY. Alright, and one more thing, the moment the phase B is connected with the ground, the capacitance which was created between phase B and ground, that will no more exist, because now it is short circuited. So the whatever capacitive charge or voltage was there, that capacitor will discharge, we can say, or we can say that voltage will be zero. That voltage across this capacitor will be zero because now it is shorted. So this capacitor will no more exist. Only two capacitors will be there. So this figure can also be represented like this. See here, only two capacitors are present. Okay, see, this figure can also be represented like this. Here only two capacitors are present, one with respect to R and one with respect to Y, and B doesn't have any capacitance. Okay, because B is directly connected with the ground. Okay, so now IR can be written as VRB by XC, and IY can be written as, I will explain why, VYB by XC. Okay, sorry, it will be VBR and it will be VBY. Okay, I'll explain why. Because in normal case, the current, the capacitive current used to flow from phase R directly to the ground. Okay, that means that current IR, for example, this current IR is flowing due to the potential difference between R phase and ground. But now this current, this suppose IR, now IR direction will be reversed. Okay, why? Because see here, the fault current is flowing like this and going back to R phase and Y phase. So now the current direction will be reversed, IR and IY, for example. So now the IR, this current is flowing due to the potential difference between point B and point R. Initially it was due to the difference between R and ground, but now it is due to the potential difference between B and R. Similarly for IY, it is flowing due to the potential difference between B and Y. That is why I have written VBR by XC and VBY by XC. Okay, and VBR is the line voltage, which can be written as root 3 times of V phase voltage by XC, and it is also root 3 times of V phase by XC. Okay, so from here we can conclude that IR is root 3 times of IC normal, and same for IY. Okay, that means initially at normal case the capacitive current was IC normal, but now the capacitive current in each healthy phase is root 3 times than that in case of normal condition. So first observation is that the capacitive currents rise. Okay, first observation, capacitive current rise. Okay, what is the second observation? See, as I have said, initially the capacitive current was flowing between R and ground or Y and ground, but now capacitive current is flowing between B and R and B and Y. That means if I say that in normal case what is the phase voltage, suppose at terminal R, if I say what is the phase voltage, then definitely it will, what I will do, I will measure the voltage with respect to the ground. Okay, and that will be the phase voltage, what we say V phase, that means this one. But here if I now want to measure what is the voltage in this phase, then we'll again measure this R terminal with respect to ground. But now the ground is same as the phase B, because now phase B and ground is shorted. So measuring this terminal with respect to ground means measuring this terminal with respect to the phase B itself. That means here actually the phase voltage becomes the line voltage, or we can say the voltage in remaining two healthy phases, the voltages of remaining two healthy phases rise to the full line values. Okay, that means each phase should have this much voltage, but now that phase is actually carrying the full line value. That means in each phase now the voltage is also root 3 times of the normal phase value, which actually leads into the insulation failure. Okay, because each phase is supposed to be handling only V phase amount of voltage, but now it is actually handling root 3 times more. So there is a chance of insulation breakdown. So this is the second conclusion. Last conclusion is the arcing ground takes place. Now what is arcing ground? See here. Now one more thing, that capacitive current is, the current which was flowing, that is sinusoidal in nature. Okay, suppose this is the capacitive current. So we know the supply frequency is 50 hertz. So in 1 second there will be 100 such times where it will cross this 0 point, and the capacitive current will be natural 0. Okay, so now let's see what will happen when it will cross this 0 point, or when it will become 0. Okay, so now let's discuss what will happen when the capacitive current will cross through this natural 0 point. Okay, but before that I forgot to mention one thing. So you may ask that if the fault is happening, then there might be some fault protection devices like circuit breakers, relay, then why are not they operating? Because here actually the fault current is capacitive in nature, and that capacitive fault current is very less. Okay, like around, even it is less than 4 ampere. So which with that much less value, it is not possible to operate the circuit breakers or the relays, because they are made for a very high fault currents. So it is not possible to initiate the operation of circuit breakers or relays with this much low value, and that is why with this much less with this much small fault capacitive current, it is not possible to protect the system. Okay, and one more thing, if the capacitive current exceeds this 4 ampere value, if it is more than 4 ampere, then what will happen? This path, that means between this phase and that ground, this path becomes ionized. That means this much current is sufficient to ionize the this faulty path or this faulty area, and the moment that air gets ionized, it results in an arc. Okay, so this is how the arc gets initiated. All right, so now let's come to the point that what will happen when this capacitive current will be crossing the natural 0. So the moment capacitive current becomes 0 at this point or at this point, what will happen? That arc will automatically extinguish, or it will automatically vanish, right? So the moment the arc gets extinguished, what will happen? I am just drawing this uh, portion again. So the moment that phase, the moment that arc gets extinguished, what will happen? Again, that capacitance effect will form with respect to the ground. Okay, because now there is no connection between phase B and ground. Now because arc is vanished now, so again the capacitive effect will come, and now see it forms an LC circuit, right? It is an LC circuit now. All right, so as we know, in LC circuit energy never gets dissipated. So whatever energy that is stored in the inductor, that total energy now will be transferred across the capacitance. Okay, so the energy stored in the inductor, that means half Li square, can be made equal to the energy stored in the capacitor, half CV square. Okay, where I is nothing but the change in current. I is the change in current. Initially at this point some certain current was flowing in this inductor, but now the current is changed due to the change in the circuit. So this is the change in current, and accordingly V is the change in voltage. Initially the voltage was 0 because it was shorted, so initially the capacitance was not existent, so that capacitance voltage was 0. but now again the capacitance comes into existence, so there might be some voltage across this capacitance. So V is nothing but V minus 0 whole square, that means V square itself, where V is the new value of capacitor. Okay, so now if you calculate this value V, you will get to see this V is coming very high in range of kilovolts, few kilovolts. Okay, so this much high value of voltage will appear across this capacitance, and that voltage is sufficient to again ionize this faulty path, and this ionization will again lead to another arc production. So another arc will take place. Okay, the moment another arc takes place, again this capacitor will vanish, right? The moment that this capacitor vanishes, what will happen? This arc phenomena will be persistent. Again this natural zero phenomena comes. Again the capacitive current will zero. Again this arc will vanish. The moment it will vanish, again this capacitor will come into the picture. Again a large voltage will be appearing across this. Again that arc will happen. So this phenomena becomes persistent, and this is called arcing ground. Okay, this is called arcing ground phenomena. And the worst part is this is persistent, because although during natural zero that arc is getting extinguished, but due to this large voltage, arc is again uh, coming into the picture. Okay, so this is the worst part of arcing ground, that it is persistent in nature. Okay, so here actually I explained this arcing ground with respect to this faulty phase B, but this same kind of analysis can also be done with respect to these two healthy phases, because see here also an RC circuit is forming. Okay, so in that case, when there is an arc, okay, there might be some current, okay, the moment that natural zero takes place, again what will happen? The current will be different in these two phases also, right? And also these capacitors will experience some new value of voltage. So there also you can equate these two equations, and you will get a value of voltage that will also be very high, but not as high as this case, like as high as the faulty phase, but still there also you will get a large value of voltage, because there also a circuit is getting changed. Okay, so there also you can use this formula for for healthy phases. Here suppose this is your pole. Okay, suppose this is your pole. Okay, and this is your cross arm, and this is the insulator, and conductor is flowing like this. So normally here I am showing here arc is taking place between phase and ground. Here actually ground means we can also say this cross arm, because this cross arm is anyway connected to the ground. So here the arcing ground phenomena takes place with between the conductor and the cross arm. So this phenomena is persistent, and it will continue until and unless there is a permanent damage in the line insulation. Okay, and finally it results in a permanent damage of the line insulator. So this is the drawback of ungrounded neutral system, and also this is the drawback of arcing ground. Okay, and that is why it is always advisable that one shouldn't use an ungrounded neutral. Okay, that is always in any kind of three-phase power system, always neutral is grounded. Okay, our neutral is never kept ungrounded. So in next video lecture I shall discuss some advantages of grounded neutral, and how this arcing ground phenomena can be prevented using this grounded neutral concept. Okay, so this much for this video lecture. I hope you have understood this. If you have understood this, please like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.